I don't think any of us fully believed that this day would happen. Sure, I only booked my flights back from Canada a few weeks ago. Even last week it looked like Tipperary was going into lockdown after the outbreak down the road of the mushroom factory. So best of luck to everyone who's ordered the mushroom boulevard for starters. It's a sign of the type of people that Ger and Jen are and how popular they are that this wedding started off with a guest list of over 300 people. It then had to be whittled down to 100 and then down to the final 70. So if you're sitting here today, you know that Ger and Jen actually do love you and they didn't just invite you to get some wedding presents out of you. Well, most of you anyway. So it's my absolute pleasure to formally welcome all of you to Ger and Jen's wedding here today. I know that everyone is ecstatic that we're able to go ahead with it, and I know for most people it's their first major gathering in forever, so I'm sure that everyone is in the mood to party and has their dancing shoes on, which is great because it's up to us, the special 70, to make it feel like all initial 310 guests are here today. So you guys will be hearing a lot more from me later, but there are a few people that have some special words to say beforehand. So to kick it all off today, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce my gorgeous new sister and the star of the show, sorry, Ger, the beautiful bride, Jen.
Sorry, I'm just going to read it out if that's okay. I don't think it's very conventional that a bride speaks first at her wedding, but nothing really has been conventional about today so far. Between COVID-19, the arrival of Storm Ellen, power outages and flying marquees, things weren't looking so great for us earlier this week. And I guess it wasn't really until we thought we lost all of our 6 guests that we really appreciated how much we wanted you all here today. So I speak for myself and Ger when I say we're so grateful to have this many family and friends here with us. We know that the past few months have been very difficult for people, and first off, a huge thank you to you all for being able to make it, and we really hope you enjoyed the day. I'd also like to extend a sincere thanks to Margaret and her team at Ashley Park. We've gone to so much effort to facilitate the day we hope to have. This is the first place that we viewed and instantly fell in love with the charm of this venue. So far, everything has been just lovely, and we hope you all have a great day. I have a few specific people I'd like to mention, including my nephew Dan and niece Amelia, who did a fantastic job at the Mass Reflection.
Well done!
My stunning flower girls, Claudia, Sophia, and little baby Emma, who are all looking just gorgeous. Ger's 2 right-hand men, Freddie and Oscar, who keeps things on track, and not to mention Ger's groomsmen, who, between the 5 of them, managed to get him to the church in time. Since I first met Ger, the Cleary family have welcomed me with open arms. The closeness and unity of you as a family is a credit to Geraldine and Pat. You've raised your family to be kind-hearted, generous in spirit, and fun-loving people. And although I just met Connor this week, he's as friendly, as welcoming as the rest. And when I do tell people that Ger is the quietest of the Cleary bunch, a few are taken back. But it doesn't take how long to see how lovely you all are, and I'm really delighted to be joining part of your family. Which brings me to my own gang. I'm truly privileged to have such great parents in Kathleen and Linda. We don't praise each other often, but truth be told, Nam, you've always been and always will be my rock. There is literally nothing I can't come to you and that you have ability to solve with pure, calm, cool and collected. And with your sense of yin that Mam brings is the sense of yang, Enda. Dad, what can I say about you? You have an energy and a passion and a lovely madness about you. You're a wonderful dad to us all, and you both have raised 4 independent and strong women, and we've learned so much from you. I'm so proud to have 3 funny, kind, supportive, fabulous sisters as my bridesmaids today. We're very different, but we support each other and always have each other's backs. Laura, I would be lost without your constant support, kindness, and ever-ending sense of chill. Karen, you're one of the funniest people I know, and we all count on you to tell us how it all is. And little Ash, the baby of the family, you hold the whole show together with your sheer positivity, energy, and endless bliss. And as for the other two bridesmaids, Joe, you're practically an honorary member of the Heffernan family, and you've been my best friend for over 20 years. I'm so happy to have our friendship is as strong as ever, and you're here by my side today. And Rosemary, you've been such a good friend to me over the years, and thank you for everything over the past few months. I think everyone will agree, all my bridesmaids are looking stunning today, and while it can't have been easy putting up with this bridezilla, nothing compares to little Miss Coco, who was brought for a bridal hamper package earlier today by Jack Campbell and Andrew McMahon. Thank you. My friends mean the world to me, and I'm so glad to have so many of you here today. I feel really lucky to have made and maintained such strong friendships over the years. And last but not least, to my husband, my Ger. Ger, I'm not going to get too sentimental, but when I was looking at wedding speeches, I came across a quote from When Harry Met Sally. And it goes like, when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. There's definitely something in that for me. There was no question with everything going on that we were going to postpone today, and all this chaos has brought home how much I really wanted to marry you. Ger, I love our nights out together. I love staying in, bitching about our Italian together. I love that you'll happily go to Woody's with me at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning when a notion gets into my head, even though you know we'll end up tearing the heads off each other during our DIY project. Everybody knows that you bring the party, but more than that, you are incredibly supportive, and since I first met you, you've lifted me up and backed me for everything I do. You're very kind, patient, very sweet, and very lovely. And even though I tell you always how lucky you are to have found me, actually, I'm the lucky one. Ger, you are a messer in every sense of the word, but I wouldn't change a bit of you. And with that, I'd like to raise a toast to my husband, Ger Cleary.
Well, thanks a million, Jen, for setting the bar so high. I don't want to be the man that has to follow that. And so with that, let me introduce to you the bravest man in the room for letting his daughter marry Ger Cleary, the father of the bride in the Heffernan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to welcome the Cleary family and all their friends who came from inside and outside the Pale down to Tipperary today. Now, I've no speech made up, which means this shouldn't take more than 2 minutes or less. So I'll start by welcoming Ger to the family. I think he won the lottery today. He met Jennifer. Also, I'm looking at my darling wife here in front of me and my 4 children, and I'd like to thank him for the way she reared them and helped them to become so independent. Jennifer qualified with a law degree in UL, and from there to Spain, Australia, and South America, and then came back and met Ger. I still think Ger won the lotto, but there you are. All those gentlemen down the back, friends of Ger's, welcome as well. and also the Bradshaw family and the Heffernan family. We'd like you all to enjoy the meal this evening, enjoy the beautiful surroundings and stuff like that. One second now. Yeah, the weather has been fantastic. We're having an after wedding at Sappermore tomorrow. You're all welcome. And I'm just thinking of Joe now. There's a line from a film, Once Upon a Time in America. It says, "You can always tell the winners from the start." From the starting post. And I think Jim knows what I'm talking about. It's just a line with Robert De Niro in it. You can always tell the winners from the start. And Kathleen myself knew that. Jennifer's always going to be a winner. I don't want to miss it. I think that ends the voting of the more jury.
Thank you for that, Enda. Although I don't think Cher won the lotto, he definitely won the Euro Millions. So next up, everyone will get the chance to see where Ger got the infamous fat Cleary head from. Although it wasn't just Ger, we are all way down by this crown, as you can see, because none of my sisters are wearing hats. Let me introduce the happiest man in the room, because Enda is letting his beautiful daughter marry Ger. It's the father of the groom, Pat Cleary.
Thank you, Enda. A hard act to follow. As I'm sure all of you know by now, I'm Jared's father, Pat. And thank you all who have travelled to be here today, especially Connor and Gina, who have flown in from Vancouver, isolated and tested negative. Connor said there was no way he was missing Jared and Jen's wedding. Unfortunately, Jared's eldest sister, Derval, is unable to be here today, as quarantine on her way to America is not an option as our school starts next Wednesday. Jared's brother Patrick is also here with us today. I'm very happy to see Jared at this important stage of his life and on the brink of such a life-changing journey. Jared, what can I say? Life has never been dull with you around. From apologising to the neighbours after you'd peed in their milk bottles, bodyboarding down the 53 steps of our house in Bray, to cap it all with my attempt at teaching you how to drive at the dog pond in the Phoenix Park. You put your foot down on the accelerator, sped across the car park full throttle, and came to a screeching halt with the smell of burnt rubber and flying dust all around. You opened the car door and took off across the field like a bat out of hell, leaving me ashen-faced with the imprints of my hands on the handbrake and the dashboard. For a change, growing up, there was always great camaraderie, laughter, and a special bond with all of your brothers and sisters. There was lots of hijinks, most of which I can't repeat. Fun and frolic, great family holidays, and many memories made. I remember the day I looked out the kitchen window in Grandad Jim's house in Bray. You and Aveen had found a bag of soot and played in it. All that was visible were 4 white eyes looking back at me. There's only another 10 pages. Bella Vista our old house in the seafront of Bray, which was the meeting place for all before nights out, and the place to return to after the night out. Eventually we had to bring the roast and baked ham up to bed with us on a Saturday night, or else there would be nothing left for Sunday lunch. Jared's rugby was and is such a large part of my life. I was so thrilled when it played such a huge part in yours. I have enjoyed the journey with you, and I've always taken great pride in your accomplishments as a leader and as a formidable presence on the rugby field. You received many accolades, 4 years on the seniors in St. Michael's, and then went on to take part in schoolboy, Irish and Leinster squads. You enjoyed your years playing in Greystones Rugby Club and reaped the rewards by being part of a large circle of friends. Pity about the pandemic. Jared, you've always been proud of being part of a large family, and have been very protective of them all. You love when we have big family get-togethers. You've carried this love to your nieces and nephews, always interested in their achievements and sourcing out special gifts and surprises. We were all devastated when we lost our eldest son and your brother Patrick. You two were extremely close. You are very fortunate to have your younger brother Connor, and it's wonderful to see the bond you share. I'm sure Patrick's presence can be felt here today, and he would be so proud of the two of you, and indeed of sisters who told me to make sure I mentioned how fabulous they looked today. COVID has put paid to a lot of your plans, including the stag. But maybe thankfully that did not go ahead. Prague doesn't know how lucky it was. Your 40th birthday celebration could not take place as planned also. But your friends all surprised you by appearing at different stages in the garden to help you celebrate. Originally, the guest list for today was well over 300, and this has been fully and well filtered down, which proved a very difficult and hard choice. Just take a look at the glum faces at the back of the group of lads who all had to make the supreme sacrifice of coming here today without their wives. Jared, you have grown into a lovable rogue. And both your mom and I love you very much. We are so glad you'll be sharing your life with two females, Jen and Coco. We are delighted and proud to call you our son. Jen, we are so happy that Jared has chosen you as his wife and life companion. You certainly bring out the best qualities in him. You are clever, generous, beautiful, patient, and the icing on the cake, to my mind, great cook. We know how close you are to your parents and sisters, that you have a very special place in your heart for your granny. It's lovely to see the family means so much to you, and no wonder Jared has chosen to spend his life with you. We are so happy that you have found each other. Jen, Connor and the sisterhood, Darvel, Carmel, Avery and Mary, welcome you, our new sister, with open arms. I hope you both have as long and happy a marriage as Geraldine and I have. It is so important to communicate, share, love each other, forgive and laugh together. And Jared, remember, when ordering dessert and Jen says she won't have one, always ask for 2 spoons. I would like to thank all who have made today possible. Rob Ford for taking care of all the printing, invitations, mass booklets, menus. The hotel and staff for supplying such a venue. And I know they will look after us so well today as they did last night. To all who took part in the wedding ceremony, and to everyone else who has and will play a part in making this such a memorable day, we are so lucky and happy to be part of this special day. Finally, Geraldine and I want to wish our son Jared and our new daughter Jen every happiness and joy in their future life. If you have it last, let us raise it now to the new Mr. and Mrs. Cleary.
Enda would just like to say another couple of words.
I won't delay you long, but I'm not used to big crowds and all that. But first of all, I forgot to raise a glass to Ger and Jennifer, or Jennifer and Gerald. So I'd like you to raise the glass. I think that's part of my old portfolio. Yeah, well, just in case I got mixed up there a while ago, I was just trying to explain to you about this film I saw, Once Upon a Time in America. What it meant was that there was a line in it that Gerald, being a racing man, would know what it's all about. You can always tell the winners from the starting gate, which means that myself and Kathleen always knew that Jennifer was going to be a winner. So that's about it anyway. And I also, on a quieter note, you're all looking great. I forgot to say that as well. Fantastic. And the grooms forgot to bring their ties, but we'll forgive them for that. But otherwise, have a great evening. So, thanks.
Thanks again, Enda. And thanks Dad for those words and making my whole family cry there for a bit. Now I know he's probably had a few shots of whiskey to settle his nerves, so I won't take too long in introducing him. He's the man Trinidad called the reddest man they've ever seen, Australia called the palest man they've ever seen, and he was known in Zimbabwe as Iquinsu Ocha, which means white devil. It's my brother and the man of the moment, Jerry Cleary.
What's the crack? You're looking all right, aren't you? So this kind of speech was written with being inside. So there's things about toast and all, so you obviously can't fill your glasses, but just flash into your drinks when I do say it, right? So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all the lads at the back. On behalf of Jen and I would like to thank everyone for coming and sharing in our special day. It really wouldn't have been the same without you all. It would have been a lot cheaper. So I hope you're all enjoying your day so far, and thank you for all your wonderful gifts. Just like Jen's marquee that they had put up for tomorrow, we've been blown away by your generosity. So, there's going to be a number of toasts in this speech, so please make sure your glasses are full. Imagine. My aim is to get you so drunk you don't remember anything he says in his speech. I'm genuinely very worried. I've actually had sleepless nights over. I swear to God, like, most things can't be said. Okay. So one thing that won't be getting a toast is COVID-19. I think Jen and I have had to plan this wedding 3 or 4 times, which has been the best crack ever. Now this wedding is the result of me getting down on one knee and then both knees, and then I popped the question to Enda, can you pay for this, can you? But, so that leads me to a story, an incident that happened on the Monday after Richie Marr's stag, which was in Wexford. I think Richie had about 60 lads on his stag, so it was an eventful occasion. Now, for anyone that knows me, they know that I give 100% commitment on a stag. I think I'm very good at them. So I took the Monday off after the stag, thinking I'd hop in the car and drive to Limerick and ask Enda for permission to marry Jen. What was I thinking? So I wake up Monday morning and I just couldn't face the drive. I was, as the Germans say, in the bits. So I rang my sister Carmel and she convinced me to ring Enda and ask over the phone. So looking back, I don't actually know how I got the confidence to do it, but I just went for it. I took a few deep breaths and pressed the call button. Now Enda is retired and drives a cab for a few extra bob, so he answers and I was like, oh, hey Enda, how's it going? It's Jer. And he's, first thing, as a loving father, he goes, hi Jer, is everything alright with Jen? So I just went for it. So I was like, yeah, all's good. So yeah, me and Jen are going down doing a bit of travelling in Africa and I'm calling just out for permission to marry her and that kind of stuff. So there's a brief silence. And then all I hear is, what is that feckin' Egypt saying? And some random lad who was getting a ride in his taxi goes, I think he wants to marry your daughter in Africa. So they both crack up laughing. So they both start laughing and I was trying to fake laugh, but I was trying to stop a heart attack too. So it's hard to do both, as I found out. I don't think people can do both. Like, why would you fake laugh and have a heart attack? Like, who does that? But seriously though, I can't thank Enda and Kathleen and the whole gang for the warmth and welcomes and crack you've shown me over the last few years. I really enjoyed the trips down to you guys. I don't think I've yet to spend the night there without having 10 beers. And I really couldn't have asked for better in-laws. And you can trust me when I say that I will always love and protect your wonderful daughter. To my mum and dad, firstly I want you to thank you for producing such an incredible song.
Which one?
Yeah. Thank you for always being there whenever I needed you. Now I'd like to mention the stunning bridesmaids, and you all look absolutely savaged. And I know how much it means to Jen to have you supporting her today. Thank you, wherever you are. I'd also like to thank my groomsmen. I think anyone that was at the church earlier can agree that that was some of the best ushering I've seen in a long time. Now I know that Connell, who was my brother-in-law, who is a pilot captain with Aer Lingus, organised for the groomsmen to have a few lessons on the runway out in the airport with those lads who paint the planes, or point the planes, you know what I mean? So hard work pays off, lads, well done. I'd also like to give a special mention to my nephew Max, who now looks down on me. I think he's 6'3" or 4 now or something stupid like that. But Avon was telling me that he was out standing on the back wall every morning at sunrise practicing his pointing Karate Kid style. Thank you, Max, for the extra effort put in. I'd also like to thank the gorgeous flower girls Sophia and Claudia. That was a great performance. Well done, girls. And thank you for everyone else who helped in the mass. Now, this wedding wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for these three heroes that I'm about to mention. So Freddie McCarthy, Amelia McCarthy, and Daniel Heffernan Orr, who I'm delighted to say that is now my new nephew to Buzz and Spoil. Now, the reason the wedding wouldn't have happened is that no one actually realises, but that marquee actually fell down last week, and Freddie cycled down on his Toblerone and put it back up, and also planted all the trees around the lake, which are so beautiful to look at. So Amelia also boot skated down and caught barehanded the two sharks that were in the lake tormenting the lads who were out fishing. So thanks Amelia for that. You can all go for a dip now if you get too drunk later. And also Daniel, who came down to trap the escaped tiger that escaped from the zoo in Nina on Thursday. No one in Nina could even walk to the shop to get milk for a cup of tea, but thanks to Daniel, the tea is flown. Cheers, Daniel. I'd also like to thank Ashley Parkhouse staff, and especially Margaret. When we thought this day wouldn't happen, she was always hugely reassuring, and we will always be forever grateful for that. Thank you very much. Now the next thank you is to my best man Connor. Connor's been in Vancouver, as I said earlier, for the last 6 years. I think I got to see him 3 years ago. It was good crack. It was good. I think I was hung out for 2 months after. But came over, quarantined, passed the test. But he's always been a brilliant brother to grow up with. I've always loved him. I've been really, really, really proud of him. And just begging him to take it easy on my speech. In your speech. Really, please. So now to the most beautiful, and I'm very proud to be able to call my wife. I'm back! Success! I like! We met on a bar stool in Grogan's. And I clearly remember thinking to myself, because I literally couldn't stop looking at her, don't fuck this up, Jerry. And ironically enough, that same line was said to me numerous times. Most of the lads down the back when they first met her too. So we battered in some points, and I literally fell in love with her that night. I might also add, after 3 or 4 points, Jen kept saying she was hungry. And I kept forgetting to order a sandwich with the round, accidentally and purposely. And now look at us, we're married. So there's a moral of the story in there somewhere, but I'm not saying it. Okay, a few weeks ago, we were driving in my car and a song came on the radio. And there was a line in the song which perfectly describes how we gel as a couple. Now I've been pretty nervous about singing this bit in public because I haven't sang in public since 1992 when I was forced into the choir in The Wizard of Oz in the school play. I also add that I wouldn't be the tidiest person in the EU. So the song goes, I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. That's us. So, Jen's beautiful, intelligent, witty, successful, and also great crack. And another cementer for me about her was a wedding we attended in Doombeg. Now Jen's friends and hers all rented a house on the lands of the hotel. And it was a great couple of days. But the morning of the second day, and there was about 10 of us just chilling out, drinking tea and coffee, and story after story from all our pals were stories of Jen's party girl antics. I recall one of them about Jen sleeping in the doorway of Brown Thomas. I'll stop now, and I'm also delighted that I'm speaking after Jen so she can't get revenge right now. But just the way I saw how popular she was made me realise I was completely head over heels, crazy in love with her, and I have been since. And I'm so happy that I get to spend the rest of my life with you. Thank you for being you. Now I hand over to my best man, Connor. Please take it easy on me. Actually, I have 2 bouquets to hand over here somewhere, wherever they are, hiding. Oh yeah.
Max.
Right, well, I guess I need no introduction at this point. I'm Jer's younger, smarter, better looking brother, Connor. And I was over the moon when Jer rang me and asked me to be his best man. But before I go ahead with the best man speech, there's a few telegrams and stuff that has come in, so I'm just going to read them out. First of all, obviously Jer has a huge group of friends from his school, Michael's, so they just sent in a little telegram because they couldn't make it today. So Jer, your friends at St. Michael's want to congratulate you and Jen on getting married and wish you every success and happiness for the future. The second one is from the deli man in Tesco. And he says, Jer, what's going on? All our rotisserie chickens and taco sauce are going off. When the hell do you get back? Yes, best of luck with your wedding. And then the third one is actually from my sister in Boston, who, as you know, couldn't make it today.
She's here.
On FaceTime then.
On this.
Oh, hey Derv. So these are Derville's words now coming out of my mouth. So this is much harder than I thought it would be, and my words are not pretty. But to my brother Jared, before I throw some shade in your direction, I love you very much. You've grown a ton from my little brother, who was born with quite a mischievous glint in his eye. I actually remember your tiny 2-year-old haired head whizzing past the wall in Blanchardstown at breakneck speed. Not a care in the world. Not a helmet on your head, not a stabilizer on your BMX. You obviously hopped off that bike at some point shortly afterwards. Fast forward to my memory of you and Bray peeing in Jimbo's neighbours' empty milk bottles as they sat on the doorsteps. I hoped you've stopped doing that by now, although I wouldn't bet money on it. I love that you've grown into such a loving, responsible, quiet, mature man. Hey, 1 out of 4 ain't bad. But to end on a serious note, I'm so heartbroken not to be there to hug you in person, but I'm so heartful to know you're so happy today. Welcome, Jen, to our family. Good luck. Jer, I miss you lots. I love you loads. Don't ever lose that mischievous glint in your eye. And Aisling, I think you want to read one out, too?
Yeah. So just for Jenny and Ger, so everybody at Dennis Springs Place to be with you today and trusting you to have a wonderful day and a blissful life ahead. And remember the old adage, may all your troubles be little ones.
Sorry, can I just read out?
Of course, yeah. If anybody else has any, please bring them up. Yeah.
Jen and Jared wishing you both the best wedding day and all the love and happiness for the future. Wish we could be there to celebrate with you. Lots of love, Alana and Madeline in Australia. And there's just one more from Sinead. Sorry. Big love and best wishes from Toronto. Sinead and Kai wish you both all the best and a brilliant day. We can't wait to celebrate in person with you.
Very nice. So one of the main duties of the best man speeches, or of the best man, is obviously the speech. So straight away I started to reach out to Jer's friends and family to gather ammo for it. To my dismay, I did not receive one story back from anyone that I was able to use. The response was that they have endless stories and dirt on Jer, but not one single one was usable in front of women and children. To quote my fellow groomsman, Richie, if it was a speech for 20 lads, he would be the easiest person in the world to write about. So if you want to hear any of those stories, me, Richie, and all the groomsmen will be at the bar later. I know the bridesmaids have already been thanked today, but I'd like to thank them again, as Jen could not have done it without you guys. They have all been such a great support for her with everything going on in the build-up to the wedding, and they really lifted her spirits by throwing her a surprise mini hen when the hen weekend got cancelled. I'd also like to remark on how gorgeous they all look today. So much so that I think we should drop the B in bridesmaids and just call them bridesmaids from here on. Unfortunately, I have not had the pleasure of being a bridesmaid yet, but when I finally do get the chance, I'll hit you girls up for some suggestions and coaching, because you've done a great job. Hopefully I'll get the nod soon. I'd also like to thank the groomsmen for everything that they've done and the support they've shown Jer when I was away in Canada. Believe it or not, this is only my 4th wedding, so I'm sure I wrecked their heads asking for advice the whole time. Thanks a million, lads, wherever you are. I wish I could drop the G in groomsmen too and make a good punt for you, but I don't think groomsmen has quite the same effect. Just as the bridesmaids had a great hen planned, we actually had an amazing stag to Prague planned with a whopping 72 lads going. The stag got so big that Ger actually had lads ring him each week saying, Ger, I know I'm not coming to the wedding, but can I please come on the stag? It's going to be the best crack. I think we're actually lucky in a way it didn't go ahead, as I'm pretty positive 72 lads would not have came back. So as you know by now, I've been living in Canada for 6 years, so I didn't get to know Jen as well as I'd hoped. Then COVID hit and we were able to catch up on some lost time as the Cleary family started to do 90 quizzes a week. It seems hard to believe that I was only lucky enough to meet her in person there on Monday. Ger and I played football till 10 and then we came back to the house and started having a few drinks then. So I was obviously pretty late, but me and Jen had a lot to talk about. So Ger, in typical Ger fashion, he hates staying up late and partying. He went to bed at, a little earlier than us, and we stayed up till 4 in the morning and cracked open a couple of more bottles of wine. So the next morning, Ger told me that Jen had woken up hysterical. She had slept in and missed a nail appointment and was screaming about what kind of bride stays drinking till 4 a.m. and misses her beauty appointments 3 days before her wedding. So Jen, I've no doubt you're going to fit right in. I also can't wait for many more late nights and missed appointments in the years to come. Whether or not you made that appointment, I think everyone in this room can see what a stunning bride you are and how magical you look today. Thank you for making my brother so happy. Speaking of my brother, by looking at him today, there's probably a lot of things that you would not have thought about his past. Like, you probably wouldn't have realised that he was a fat little pudding when he was younger. That when he got 60 quid for his communion, he spent every penny of it in a week by buying brunch ice creams all for himself. To put that into perspective, brunch ice creams were 30p at the time. He also used to eat those romantic ice cream cakes whole by himself in one sitting, like a big bloody burger, like in his hands, no forks, no spoon. Luckily, all this extra weight led to him being a great rugby player, and after he shed a bit of the fat, he managed to play 4 years SCT for Michaels and represented Leinster and Ireland at underage levels. This is a testament to the man, and when you think about it, it's actually pretty incredible. Like, is there anyone else in the room that can put their hand up and say that they've achieved something similar? I deserve that.
2 pages missed.
All this rugby never curbed Ger's wild side though, and he always loved a good party and heading out knacker drinking with his mates in some fields when he was younger. There's a particular night that Ger and a load of his mates, many of them here today, were drinking in Presbury pitches when a Garda Mariah van came speeding towards them on the pitch with its sirens flashing. Everyone turned and fled to try to escape, but not our Jerry. Ger thought it would be a good idea to shout, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough." And then, in a very contrasting action, proceeded to just lay down on the pitch, thinking that the guards wouldn't be able to see him in the dark, even though they had the lights on and the sirens flashing. So Ger obviously got hauled into the back of the van and brought back to my granddad's house. And this is where his gift of the gab kicked in, because he told granddad that basically they'd roughed him up and beat him up. And my granddad angrily kicked all the guards clean off his property and probably rewarded Ger with one of his beloved ice creams. You also wouldn't know by looking at how well presented he is today that he hasn't always been the fresh smelling, cleanly individual that sits here before us. This is the same man that once went on a 4-day stag to Scotland with nothing but a pair of boxers and a toothbrush in his pocket. I'm presuming the plan was to turn each pair of boxers inside out to get the extra day out of each of them, but I presume that spare pair never left the pocket. He's actually gotten a lot better though, as last night he told me he's brought 2 pairs of boxers to this 4-day wedding. That's not a lie. This ravishing groom before us is also the same man that wasn't able to cut his manky toenails with normal nail scissors. So he had to use the big scissors from the kitchen. We shared a room at the time, and there used to be massive chunks of nails shooting across the room like ninja Death Stars, and I was always terrified that I'd be blinded by one. You'd also never guess by how well behaved he is today, how much of a mischievous little bollocks he has been throughout his life. He hated all the vendors and carny folk he used to set up outside of our seafront home in Bray. So him and I used to hide on our balcony with a pellet rifle and shoot them and any customers that would give them the business they so badly needed. The owners of the circus that set up in front of our house one year must have been shocked as well the morning they came in and all their signs, hula hoops, balls and a costume or two were missing from the circus tent. But I'm sure our mum was even more surprised to find them all in Jer's room the next day. Or especially when he was a little toddler. He must have really hated that neighbour that my dad has previously mentioned. As not only did he piss in his milk, but young Jer used to climb the side wall, drop over the side, landing head first, and proceed to shit in the little hole in the garden where the washing line would go. Now, although I'd love to stand here grilling Jer in front of his beloved 70, it came to my attention that we'd be here all night if I fully entertained him. I don't even have time to tell you about when he was 16 in a nightclub and he told a 23-year-old girl he was a mechanic so he could get with her, only to meet her on the dart the next morning in his full school uniform. Don't need it. Nor do I have time to tell you how Mum still believes he's just drinking Coke at family gatherings. When we all know there's enough whiskey in that glass to kill a small goat. So, seeing as I didn't have the time to tell you about those and other stories, I decided to write a quick poem to summarise all these stories and try to give you a unique insight into our Jer and his relationship with the beautiful Jen. So, here we go. This day I did not think I'd see where our Jerry would be wedded, and it's not because of character flaws or any others he may have betted. You see, our Jerry was a wild one, a bucking bronco he, full of heart and spirit, and especially full of glee. A character for the ages and a friend of everyone. I've literally met less people that don't know Pat Cleary's son. For whenever I am out with all people I don't know, the first question is your name in Cleary, and then they know me so. Are you Jer Cleary's brother? He's the funniest man I've met. Or he is a sick animal, he should probably see a vet. They say they met him at a party where he lit his head on fire. They've seen him get a dog drunk and try to climb the spire. He's worn a tuxedo in the hot tub and his birthday suit at dinner. If you haven't caught by now, Jen, you know you have a winner. My first beer and my first cigarette, the first porno mag I'd seen. My first advice on sex, and this was all before 13. He stripped me naked in my school and put a pellet in my head, pissed on my PlayStation and put some thumbtacks in my bed. But no bigger heart as anyone in this world, and it's when he met the beautiful Jen that this love really unfurled. I've seen him in some happy states, but never will I forget that call I got 5 years ago and the earful I would get. He said he met this girl named Jen and he tried to play it cool, but I instantly knew something was up because he was mumbling like a fool. Telling me she was a beauty and she had the brains and chat to match, that she had a fantastic booty, other girls had not a patch. Of something great that was the start, a little love seed sown, and day by day and week by week, this magic love has grown. This love then it blossomed, and over the last few years it grew, and I think that this was obvious to me, the world, and you. A happy chappy Jer was always, as previously I have stated, but I've never seen him wear a smile, quite like since Jen's been dated. I always thought when it came to sisters, I had enough but 4, but now I could not be happier to welcome on board one more. It fills me with tremendous joy, with so much love and pride, to introduce my brother Jer and his beautiful new bride. And with that, I'd like to raise a toast to the new Mr. and Mrs. Clear. Thanks, man.
That was Whopper.